Started. So your math teacher mentioned that you've been a little stressed, a little not yourself lately. Can you tell me a little bit about what's been going on?
Well, yeah, I've been a little stressed because I have this robotics competition coming up, then a math decathlon, and I have been getting really bad grades recently.
Oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that. Sounds like you have a lot going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like there's a lot of pressure on you right now. How do you think that's been affecting you?
Well, it's the normal for me, so I don't really
Mm-hmm.
know how it's affecting me.
Mm-hmm. Have you felt different these past couple of days or weeks?
Well, I have seemed to get a little bit more nervous and getting less sleep.
Getting less sleep? I hear that. That sounds really tough. Um, so getting less sleep, how do you think that's impacted like your grades and how you've been feeling?
Well, I think it's been making me a little bit more tired, making me miss certain notes in class, which is terrible because what am I? Because when I look back, I don't know which color I'm supposed to use for the notes.
Okay, so it's kind of you feel like in your classes it's you're not quite on track as you usually are. You're getting a little confused with like what colors you're supposed to be using, and usually you're more organized with that.
Yeah, I have a color system for what's important then more important.
Okay, and that color system hasn't been working quite as well
Yeah.
recently. Okay, so your sleep. Let's think about that for a minute. So when you're not getting as much sleep, you're not able to focus as well in class, right? And that kind of lack of focus in class is leading you to feel a little more stressed, right? And
Yes.
it's causing your grades to go down, it
Mm.
sounds like. Okay. So, what does that like feeling feel like in your body? Like when you get stressed in class, let's say your teacher's talking about a big test that's coming up and you don't feel ready for it, or you're looking at your notes and they don't seem quite as organized as usual, you can't keep track of where you are. What does that feel like in your body when that starts happening?
Well, my chest get feels like really tightened as if I'm wearing a corset.
Oh,
My
wow.
head gets lightweight and I feel like I'm about to throw up right there on the spot.
Oh man, so you're really having that physical reaction to that. That sounds really intense. I'm sorry that that's been happening. So, all of that kind of circles back to when you're having those thoughts, right?
Yes.
Now, when you're not having those thoughts, what do you feel like?
Well, when I'm not thinking about those, I'm thinking about how I can improve myself, how to win certain outside of school extracurriculars
Mm-hmm.
like theater, the robotics, and the math, the cathalons.
Okay, so you're kind of just thinking about everything you have to do, which is a lot of stuff to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really intense. So what are the things when you're having those thoughts? What are some of the things you're like thinking about yourself? Is there anything you're like telling yourself during that?
Well, I'm thinking about how I'm such a failure, how I'm never going to get into my dream college, Harvard, and how I'm just going to end up like a um, begging for change on the streets like a homeless person.
Oh my goodness, yeah, those sound like some intense thoughts. So it sounds like those thoughts you're feeling, those might be related to some anxiety about not achieving perfection or not getting to your dream school one day.
I mean, I haven't been getting hundreds like usual. I've been getting 95s.
95s, and 95's still an A.
Yeah, but it's not 100.
It's not a 100, but what happens when, do you have a lot of friends in your classes who are in similar classes?
Well, I don't really have friends. People call me a nerd, but I have a few which
You
are
have a
in my
few?
classes.
Okay. Are they also pretty smart? Do they usually get 100s?
Well, they usually get 90s and 85s.
Okay. And how do you think they'll be successful one day?
Well, maybe they could get a good office job.
They could. Mm-hmm. Do any of your friends ever get 95s and 100s too?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Yeah. How do they feel when they get
They,
95s?
they get really happy and go to tell their other friends and their parents.
Mm-hmm. So they're really proud of themselves, right?
Yeah.
And they think a 95 is really good, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. So what if you thought a 95 was really good?
Well, people would think that that was not good for me because they have high expectations for me because I'm smart.
That sounds really intense. But having a 95, that still makes you pretty smart because that's still an A. You can't get higher than an A.
Well, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But you can get higher with an A plus.
I guess you could get higher with an A plus, yes. Um, but an A is still really good, right? So maybe it's not quite as perfect as you're hoping, but maybe you don't always need to be perfect, right?
What? You can be not perfect?
It's true. You can be not perfect. Think about not your professors, your teachers. Has your teacher ever been up at the board and accidentally put a negative sign when it should have been a positive?
Well, yeah.
They make mistakes sometimes, don't they? But they correct them. Maybe they don't correct them. Maybe you raise your hand and correct them because you're so smart, right?
No.
No?
Because that's disrespectful.
That could be considered disrespectful. I could see that. But when your teachers make mistakes like that, maybe if they catch it, they'll correct themselves, right? And teachers are pretty smart. If they're teaching you all that hard stuff, they know some pretty hard stuff too, right?
I mean, they do have to be in school for years.
Exactly. And they worked really hard to get there. But even after all of those years, they still sometimes make mistakes. But does the world explode when they make a mistake?
No.
No. Things keep going on and it's okay, right? Yeah. So maybe they get stressed for a minute and think about it, but they still have to stand up there and keep teaching. So when they make that mistake, it's their action, they have the thoughts like, oh no, I'm really stressed. What do I do? Maybe their chest starts feeling tight, kind of like that, but they have to push through it and keep going, right?
I guess. I mean, they can't stop if they still want pay.
That's true. That is true. So how could you do that as a student? You have those negative thoughts like a 95 isn't good enough, right? So what if you had those thoughts, a 95 is good enough. I can keep going, right? Because you can't drop out of school.
No.
Right. So maybe you should think to yourself, a 95 is good enough.
Well,
A 95 is even really good, not just good enough.
I guess. Well, maybe with even just 1 or 2 or 5 95s, well, Harvard would really just look over that and just see all the hundreds. So,
They would still recognize those 100s, wouldn't they?
yeah.
Yeah. So when you get those thoughts that I'm not good enough, a 95 is really bad, maybe you should try and think, no, a 95 is really good, and Harvard is still going to love me because they're going to see all of those 100s I had in the past, right? And how do you think that would make you feel when you have those positive thoughts instead of those negative ones?
I think that made me, instead of imagining that I'm homeless on the streets, I've had the career that I want.
Exactly. Yeah, and maybe that would push you to, do you think maybe you would be sleeping a little better?
I guess so.
Yeah, if those thoughts weren't going through your head, you might get a little better sleep, fall asleep a little quicker at night. Yeah, and maybe you could even wake up in the morning not feeling quite as stressed.
I mean, every day when I wake up, I wouldn't be thinking, ugh, what if I just skip school today? I wouldn't even have a test, so it wouldn't really matter anymore.
So what if when you woke up, you said something like, I can do this. I'm a great student.
Well, that is a good idea.
To think that?
Yeah.
Yeah, and to tell yourself that each morning, and kind of think those positive thoughts about yourself, I bet you'd start feeling better and sleeping better.
I guess I would.
Yeah.
That would really help.
Yeah. So let's plan on when you wake up in the morning, I want you to tell yourself it's going to be a good day and that you're a good student. Does that sound good?
Maybe.
And, go ahead.
Maybe I can even write it down somewhere.
You could. That would be great. And then also I want you in your brain, when you're thinking, when you start having those thoughts, maybe you get a test back and you get a 95 or even a 90. I know. It's crazy. It's a crazy thought, but it could happen, right? Because you're human and you make mistakes sometimes, right? When you have those, when something happens that doesn't quite go your way, you can try and have those positive thoughts and think to yourself, no, Harvard will still love me because I'm me. I'm a great person, I'm a great student, and I have all of these awesome things going on in my life, and I'm working really hard.
Plus, if I just look at the overall grade, I'll see there's still hundreds or maybe a 99%.
Exactly. Yeah, that's really great. And then hopefully you'll start feeling a little better too. Does that sound good?
It does.
Awesome.
Thank you for helping me.
You're welcome.